Yeah, like I was like, what the fuck? Like I just burnt Katy Perry's hair off. So we had this whole thing. We take her to the bowl. I'm pulling the foils out really fast, and she's like, my hair's falling out, isn't it?
All right, everybody. I am super excited about my guest today. Everyone is like in love with this guy. I have met him at BravoCon. He's the co-founder of DP Hue. He's known amongst the housewives as the hair color guy. And he recently had sort of an awkward moment with one housewife at BravoCon this past weekend. I am so excited to speak with him and clear some of the air right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Justin Anderson today.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. First off, I want to say that like you're an absolute icon rock star for having me on and like this fast. Because we did have something so stupid that happened and you handled it like such a badass. And I have so much respect for you forever because of it. So thank you for having me today. I feel honored to be in here talking to you.
Oh my God. Well, thank you. And that'll show you honestly how, which we'll fill all my listeners in right now because some of them may know, some of them probably don't know. So we're going to fill them in, but just in what you were just saying, that is so not me. That is not my character. That is not. So I was like, what, who, where, how? And they were like, oh, he's on a live right now. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to inject myself right into
Which was so good in itself, But I have to say, like going into BravoCon, I'm not in the Bravo universe, but I love Housewives. Like I'm absolutely obsessed. I talk about it all the time. And I always try to come from a place of like, I just love women. Like I made my name in doing hair color. And I worked with some of the biggest women in the world, Jennifer Aniston, Gwyneth Paltrow, Miley Cyrus, Margot Robbie. These were all my really big celebrity clients. And I have a hair color line called DP Hue. We sell in all Ulta stores. We're on Amazon, Sephora. And so my life kind of changed from being in the salon to just working on my product line. And then I did my best friend Kristen Cavallari's reality show for a few seasons, Very Cavallari, and it's on E! So I have no connection to the Bravo world. But since I talk about it so much, I got brought in with my friend Teddy Mellencamp and Tamra Judge to do their podcast over the weekend at Bravo. So I'm going to Bravo. And I'm so excited because like I love all the ladies. And I swear to God, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Like I was so excited to meet you because you and I have never had like an Instagram connection. We've never met in person, whatever. And I'm just like a huge fan and I'm in love with Joe and I love your guys' relationship. So I was like, you were the one, like people were asking like, who are you excited to see? I'm like, I can't wait to see Melissa Gorga. Like I know that her and I will like hit it off. Like I feel like we'll be friends or whatever. And we had this weird interaction with each other that I'm learning now you didn't have the same interaction because you had no idea that it happened. And I believe you 100%. Now, like looking back at the way that it happened, it was me being sensitive and not realizing what happened in that situation, if that makes sense.
So explain to everyone what happened. So it was day one of BravoCon. Is that when it was? It was day one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got the first night that I did anything with Bravo, I went to Teddy and Tamara's room at the hotel where everyone was staying at. And we did like our first podcast. We were with Lisa Barlow, who I love from Salt Lake City.
Love her.
She is so fabulous beyond. We had been friends on social media for a while, so I was so excited to meet her. And we interviewed her first. And then after, I was like, okay, I love the party, but I'm like, I need to keep it cool tonight. Go home. It's a long weekend, whatever. And of course, like Tamara's like, no, you're going out tonight. Like we're having fun, whatever. So we go up to the rooftop of the hotel where like everyone's staying and we get up there and I didn't know what to expect. And it was like everyone was there, like Bravo people everywhere. And I'm like excited because I'm a fan of everyone and I'm not in any of the drama. So it's like fun for me, whatever.
Right.
And all these people come up and it was really cool. It's like, I think it shows like, to be honest, I'm going to give Kristen a shout out. It shows like the power of like Kristen Cavallari. She's like an OG reality queen, right? So like so many people were coming up to me like, oh my God, like I love you and Kristen's relationship. You guys are so cute. And I was like, wow, like people like know who I am in this world. It was so sweet. Everyone was being so nice, whatever. And I was like having so much fun talking to everyone. I was a little bit tipsy. And then I left the group by myself and I was standing out in the hallway. And I think I was like trying to figure out, because I wasn't staying in that hotel. I chose to stay uptown because I knew I'd get too messy if I stayed in that hotel. So I was getting my driver to get me to go. And I'm standing in the hallway and all of a sudden you come walking at me and I got so excited. And here's the thing where it's like, it makes sense to me now. Like I'm a naturally like kind of loud, outspoken person. Like I'll just like tell people I love you. Oh my God, it's so good to see you, whatever, and try to jump right into conversation. And even more so when I've been drinking a bit. So you come walking up and I screamed at you like a frat boy. Like it was like, Melissa Gorga, like I fucking love you. Like you're so hot, whatever. And in the moment, like you're walking by yourself, we're in this hallway and it's just pretty much me. And looking back on it now, it's like, that's so weird to have anyone randomly just like scream at you, like, you know, and I'm sure like you
No,
would
Justin,
thought,
it's not that weird. We're at BravoCon. You don't know. I have to give you some credit. I like people who are ballsy and they're like, oh my God, I love you. Instead of they just like, it's not that weird. We can't put blame on you here for it. Totally. You probably took me like a little off guard, but all right, keep going. Finish your story. I'm not going to cut you off.
No. So I do like my scream. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I was literally like, first of all, like, you are so fucking hot in person. Like your body, how tight it is, and like your beautiful skin, everything, the whole thing. So I was like, Melissa, you're so hot. Like I love you, whatever. And you kind of gave me a look, but like it was almost like you were nervous. Like, what the hell is this guy gonna do? Is he gonna tackle me? Like, what's going on? So you kind of gave me a look, and it was like, I'll be honest, like you gave me what felt like a little bit of a dirty look, and you kept walking. So I was like, oh my God.
Wait, so did I hear you say those things to me? I love you. I'm a fan. Like, did I even hear you say that?
Well, remember up on that rooftop area, like it was loud and there were people everywhere. And it was right when you walked out of the main bar and you're walking to the elevators, like there's that the hallway.
Yes.
So the loud sound from the bar is coming in and you're kind of walking fast and I'm yelling it towards you. And I don't think that you heard me. I think that like you would have laughed and like waved or whatever. I didn't expect you to like stop and like, oh my God, like whatever. But you kind of just like looked over and maybe you weren't even looking at me, but I almost felt like, did you have like anything happen that night? Because you looked like you were in your head, like, I want to get the fuck out of this place. Like you were kind of racing out. So when you kind of looked over, you gave me like a little bit of a look, like I laughed and I was like, what the hell was up with that? So then my assistant who was with me that night, she came walking out and she's like, okay, I figured out where the car is. She's like, let's go. So we walked to the elevators and you're waiting at the elevators. And I'm like, fucking A, dude, like whatever. So then you and we get onto the same elevator. And it was one of those things like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to say something like, hey, like whatever. And you kind of looked the other way. Whatever. It was whatever it was. We leave. I go home that night and I'm really like vocal on Instagram. I talk about everything. Like I love social media, and everyone's like asking like, oh my God, who are you so excited to see? Blah, blah, whatever. So that night I was like, I had a really weird interaction with a housewife that I was super excited to meet, but I didn't say anything because I know better. Like I don't want to start drama. I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but I said that. So then of course, for the next couple of days, everyone's like, who was it? Who was it? Talk about it, whatever. And I said on my Instagram, I'm like, I don't know if it was just something off. And I was like, I think I'm actually supposed to speak to this person on the podcast, on Teddy and Tamara's podcast. I'm like, so I'm going to bring it up with her in person, like see if it was anything. We didn't end up talking. You didn't come on the podcast and you and I didn't have any interaction with each other. And then the last night that I was there before I was leaving, I was drinking, I was drunk, and I went on live, just randomly talking live. And all my questions were like, who was it? Who was it? Talk about it. So I was like, it was Melissa Gorga. And I was like, but you guys know that like, I've talked to you about all the housewives. Like, I love Melissa. Like, I've never said anything. I was like, my thing is, I'm like, did she maybe hear that I've said something bad about her? Was there some sort of miscommunication, whatever? And then like you popped in and you were so rad and you're like, Justin, call me. This is such a miscommunication. We called and you were so nice. And so it ended up being amazing. And I feel stupid.
No, don't feel stupid. Because you know what? Here's the thing. The truth of the matter is I remember zero of what you're talking. I don't remember being in an elevator with a handsome blonde guy like you. I don't, honestly, I would remember you. And you're tall, right? You're like tall in person. I would totally remember you. I don't remember you saying hello to me. None of that. And I feel like there is no one that would walk by me to say like, Melissa, I'm such a fan that I would give a dirty look to. Never, I would never. That's not what I do. Right. So when my cousin, somebody was watching, by the way, my family is such a fan. Everybody loves you. You're very well loved. Everyone says you're very real. My cousin called me today and said, are you going to talk to Justin? I said, yeah. She goes, let's have a conversation. And I was like, okay, I'm going to tell him I want to have a conversation. She's like, tell him you want to have a conversation. I was like, okay. I'm like, everybody loves you, honestly. And it's not in my character at all to not anybody who wants to talk or like, hey, Melissa, we love you. I would give you I don't know what I was in it seems like I was focused on something else. Right. So I was off a little bit and I would never ignore you. So I had to have you on today to like apologize to you, to talk to you, to tell you that I appreciate you. You handled it so good too. I just like interrupted your live, just jumped right in there. Everyone's like, Melissa's on the live. Justin, you're like drunk, just rambling on and on and on. And I'm like, Justin.
I didn't even see that either. Like I had friends who were like texting me. All of a sudden I saw text popping up and it's like, Melissa's in your room. My assistant was sitting with me that night and my sister, who also works with me, was texting her being like, tell Justin to shut up. Melissa's in the room or whatever. So at the end of the day, like, I think it's a funny story and I'm glad that it worked out that way. And it's like, I can tell too, like, I've been in like that celebrity world and then the reality world. And I know when people are good. And I really am being honest, like going into it, like I was super pumped to meet you because I've always from afar just been like, Melissa's a badass. She's so cool. You can tell she has a big heart. Like you're in that world and you handle it so well. So it just like totally threw me off. But one thing I think like people listening to the podcast right now need to realize, because I learned it this weekend, BravoCon is a shit show. Like it is the wildest thing you have ever seen. I don't think anyone would understand it until you're in that situation because it's like there's so much being thrown at you at all times. I was saying for the 3 days that I was there, I was in the press room. So where everybody walks the red carpet. And then as they came off the red carpet, I was interviewing people. So they would sit down with us and we'd interview them. Well, they're in the mix of like, there's so much drama happening. Like the minute people sit down, they're dirty looking other people. People are calling out the people that we're interviewing. Vicky Gumbelson and Teddy start fighting while we're on the podcast. Vicky's crying. Like I'm watching all this stuff. There's so much like emotion. So it's like so that was the first night after I saw that and I felt like all this stuff, I was like, all of these people kind of have to be on guard, like what's about to be thrown at me at any place. It's really fun, but there's so much going on. Like your mind is spinning. Would you agree?
Yes, I am a deep person. I tend to be in my head a lot. I do like to think before I talk, right? I'm very big on relationships with people. That's why I jumped in with you that quickly, because I truly I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. So like you said, I was in my head. BravoCon is huge, like in my head all weekend long, hyper focused, really couldn't enjoy a drink if I'm being honest. Like, and I'm a party girl. I am a known party girl. The more I drink, the better I get, the more fun I become. But I couldn't get a buzz even because I was so in the zone and the tensions. And unfortunately we are on, which you have to give hats off to Bravo, right? What network can put every single one of their shows and like take over New York City and the Jacob Javits Center, by the way, which is insane. Like what Bravo has created as far as like just a Bravo celebrity. They literally live in their own bubble, right? Of like their own celebrity world is right in that network, which is insane, right? But at the same time, there's so much good and so much bad that comes with being a housewife because of the pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And I'm not taking anything away from any of the other franchises, but when you talk about family, right? And now I'm in press rooms and Joe's in press rooms and we're on these stages and we're being separated from our family members. And trust me, I was in the zone. I was probably didn't even hear a word you said to me because something just happened or something just got said. And that's probably what happened at that time. But when you say like BravoCon is an event, I know you felt it in that press room, just seeing the different casts probably coming through. Insane, right? It's insane the amount of pressure that it is.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely crazy. And that's why I had to bring that part of it up because so that was the first night. Then I go in and I'm doing all that stuff. And as I saw it, I called my boyfriend who I've been with for 8 years. And I'm like you, like I'm like a feeler. I want to get along with everyone. I love one-on-one relationships, and that's just so much is going on. So as I saw it for the next few days, I was like, okay, wow, like all of these women must be on guard. Things are happening. Like you're so in your head, and you nailed it with the housewives. The first day that we were there, it was Beverly Hills was coming through the most. For some reason, they were doing tons of press the first day we were there, and they're having so much drama right now as a cast, you know? And I
Right.
know those women, a lot of them individually, you know? So I was excited to talk to all of them. But even talking to women, you know, I've known Kathy Hilton forever. I used to do her hair, and she's so sweet, whatever. I love her. But even like seeing her, it wasn't like this, like, oh my God, let's sit down and like, let's catch up for a moment. It's like,
Tension.
so, yes. And so much is being thrown at them from every angle. And the whole thing about Bravo, which makes it fun and why it's entertaining, is it's all about that kind of gotcha dramatic moment, right?
Right.
So all of these reporters are trying to ask you the most like inappropriate, out of this world question to get you kind of thrown off. So I just feel like everyone's on guard. So it really ended up making a lot of sense to me.
Okay, good. I'm so glad. No, that because that's just one part of it. I want to talk to you about you and other things and your other experiences, but that was one part that was really important to me, that you knew that that was so unintentional and that I would never, and I owe you a drink. Like we totally are going to sit, you are going to see, you and I are definitely going to sit in a hotel somewhere and have a cocktail 100% to
No,
make up for it.
we definitely are. And the thing is, like I was saying, like I talk so much on my Instagram, and I really like engage. I love the people who follow me. I think it's really fun. And so they were so invested in it. So I'm so glad that we were able to just do this, you and I talking, rather than me try to explain it. Because even so, I did a story the next day being like, you guys, it's cool. We ended up talking, like I love her again, whatever. And all my DMs were saying, no, she's gaslighting you. That she showed you who she really was. And I'm like, no, it wasn't like that at all. Also, you have no reason to need to reach out. You could just be like, hey, bud, you messed up. That wasn't true. That wasn't the way it was. So like, I wanted people, my followers will all come and watch this or listen to this. And like, I want them to hear the real thing. Like, this is how you work shit out. Like, no,
Right.
it you know what I mean? Like you had
Yes.
no reason to. And the other thing is like I trust you enough that like if you were like, oh, I heard that you said something about somebody on my cast and I didn't like that, whatever. If you said that, I would have to own that. It's like, cool, you're sticking up for your friend. I'm the most protective friend. The only drama I've ever gotten in that reality TV world is sticking up for my best friend, Kristen Cavalier. Like she's my real best friend, and I have stuck up for her in certain situations, and it's made it into the press. And she's had to be like, Justin, just keep your mouth shut because it makes it more of a story. So
Right.
I understand that whole protective thing. And beyond that, you and I have no reason to not be cool. So it's so rad that we can talk this out and let people see what adults do when they just say like, no, there's no beef there. I promise you.
Exactly. And I'm that way. I'd rather hit the nail on the head. I don't want tension. I don't want you speculate. I don't want to, I want to, whoa. Like, absolutely don't even know what you're like. I literally had to sit there for 5 minutes after my cousin, and I'm like, who? What did I do?
Right.
What is he talking about? She's like, I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, I didn't even know the night. I had to ask you on text. I'm like, what day was it? When did this happen? I didn't even know what you were just talking about. So I truly think this is a lesson just for everyone. If there is tension and something awkward, instead of like shutting your mouth, it is better to just get right in there and talk about it, right? And be like, wait,
Absolutely.
what's happening here? And it just gets worse and escalates. Guys, let me tell you about Claire. Claire is a new online paint brand that makes paint shopping simple. We all want to create a beautiful home that reflects our personal style, and paint is one of the easiest and least expensive ways to totally transform your home. Claire makes picking paint colors easy and hassle-free. With Claire, you can find everything you need to choose a paint color and tackle your paint project with confidence without even leaving your home. From the products to inspiration to tips and tutorials, it's literally a one-stop shop. Claire is a female-founded company, and its founder and CEO also happens to be an interior designer. She saw that the traditional paint shopping experience was outdated and full of hassle, and decided to create a better brand and a whole new experience that's just easier, more convenient, and definitely more inspiring. Claire also offers expert guidance, including a ton of educational content to help you tackle your paint project like a pro. And they have an inspiring blog full of home ideas, tips, and tutorials to help you create a home that you love. So for your next paint project, definitely you guys have to give Claire a try. It's so hassle-free. Go to claire.com/Melissa for 10% off your order. That's claire.com/Melissa for for 10% off. Speaking of that, to be honest, you know, I like, it's not really my style to normally, like what you just said also about like with Kristen Cavallari, right? That she says to you, like, don't speak of it. It just escalates it. It makes it more, right? I believe in that also a lot of the time, but I actually had, a situation at BravoCon also. And to be honest, I rarely do I feel the need to like address these types of things. And I refuse to give it too much time or energy because the truth is BravoCon is a celebratory event, right? It's not really supposed to be about the drama of the housewives. Okay. It's not supposed to be about who doesn't like who and who's not getting along. It's really about the fans. That's what BravoCon is. It's about celebrating these massive reality shows that we're on and the fact that all these fans have supported us for so many years, right? So it's not a reunion. It's not. But right. It's not. And unfortunately, we should be able to go as cast members with clear heads, right? And really enjoy it and like get a buzz, have a good time without feeling like we need to be on guard, which was like the way you saw me, right? But I had another incident happen, something about those elevators in that hotel. I don't know what goes down by the elevators, but something goes down. I had another incident. And you know, with one of my cast members where I had, and this is good. You can play devil's advocate. You can give me advice because I actually think you're good for this. All day long, I had the fans at BravoCon for the first 2 days coming up to me, telling me I had another cast member, that was basically bashing me the whole entire, and it's not my sister-in-law, basically bashing me the whole day, but not bashing me like about what I did on the show. Not saying like, you know, when Melissa said this on the show to me, it was wrong. Or when Melissa did this on the show, it was wrong. She was discussing like Bravo PR. She was saying, Melissa's hanging on by a thread. I don't even know why she's on the show. I like things that are real, just not in your lane. Okay. You got to stay in your lane. Second of all, I'm not sure what show you're watching if I'm hanging on by a thread because, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. And it's just so out of your lane and you're not the publicist. You're not in charge of, it's just like a very toxic road to go down to create tension that's unnecessary at a celebratory event, right? It's like, unless they're going to put up a clip of something that happened on our show and you comment on it, that's all fair game, right?
Right.
So I'm hearing all of this. So, you know, we're standing in the lobby. It's now 1 a.m. on Saturday night, I want to say. Yeah, it was Saturday night. 1 a.m. on Saturday night. I'm standing in the lobby with Joe talking to a couple of the Family Karma. Oh my God, by the way, love that. I never really watched that show. I fell in love, can I just say, with every one of the cast members. They were all so down to earth, amazing, and super excited to like meet me and talk to me. I fell in love with them all. I'm going to start watching that show. But we were in the lobby talking to them, and all of a sudden my castmate comes in and I haven't said her name on a panel once. Her name doesn't even ever, to be honest, come out of my mouth too much because just like not my cup of tea, not where I focus. It's not that important to me. Just being honest, no shade. It just didn't even come up once. No one asked me one question about her. Obviously there was questions about the family and my sister-in-law and all these things, because what other kind of questions are you going to ask the Real Housewives of New Jersey? Right. So that's always a hot topic, but like with her, not one question. Nobody asked me one thing. So she comes walking in after hearing that she's saying that I'm hanging on by a thread to be on the show and all of these negative things about me all day. She then walks in with her assistant and just goes to walk by me and gives me this snarky stare in my eyes as she's walking past me. And I'm like, I just look at her and I go, in my tone, in Melissa Gorga tone, no yelling or screaming. I go, keep moving, wannabe. Come on, loser. Just keep walking. There's the elevator. Literally right. All I said, which, all right, come on. If you can't, you can dish it, but you can't take it. You've been saying things all day long that were 10 times worse than like, hey, loser, keep walking, because she's staring at me in my eyes. Sorry. Right. I don't think that was that. I could have picked much worse words. Right. But I didn't. I called her like a wannabe. hence her saying that I shouldn't be on the show or whatever she's saying. I said, keep it moving. Okay. She did not like that. I mean, we all know that she was at a party before. I had seen her at the party before. She then comes in, she starts screaming and yelling that I said that. But now she's like at the elevator and I am still right by the front door, right by the front door. She's all the way by the elevator. She's screaming, she's yelling, she's cursing, she's saying all these things. Now I'm like, oh shit, God, I should have known better that this is going to happen. Now it's like embarrassing. Okay. So my assistant, somebody that I work with, walks over to her. He's literally carrying like a purse, by the way. He's carrying bags. He's carrying all this stuff. He walks over and he goes, you're acting like trash. You can't do this. Go inside. Stop yelling. Why are you acting like trash? Like, get out of here. She freaked out that he said that. Okay. Joe is now seeing her freak out. And Joe, and I have to say, I don't think we give Joe enough credit either. And he's 100% wrong sometimes, but he literally said, I don't even know how this dirty bitch, this dirty bitch is on the show. He did say that out loud, but he was saying it to the other people we were talking to. Is he right? No, but he said that. Okay. Wasn't looking at her. Wasn't like, he just said it like that. Now she freaks out. Now she tries to throw a drink on the guy I work with. She threw it all over the lobby. It got all over the security guard. By the way, the security guard, when she started screaming, yelling, went right to her. She had 2 security guards with her. She had her assistant with her. She throws the drink. It went all over the security guard. By the way, she should probably take care of his dry cleaning bill because the poor guy, you could see him. There's a video of this, by the way. You can see him like shaking off his chest because she got him all wet or whatever. And now she's screaming and yelling. It's really a scene. It looks terrible. It does look trashy. Sorry, no other way to put it. The security guard like escorts her. They go upstairs. They go in a room. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that just happened. Fast forward, Bravo gets wind of it. There's a video that surfaces. You can clearly see in the video that Joe and I are nowhere near her. We're on the other side of the room. She's over there. She, I guess, got very upset that a lot of the headlines were saying Jennifer throws a drink. Jennifer throws a drink on the Gorgas, which she did. And I guess then, so she went out there, she had her assistant go and make a whole TikTok, and the assistant says she felt attacked. She felt like she was alone without her husband and she was being attacked. It was, Justin, it was extremely.
Meanwhile, there's security guards there who are like protecting the situation. And I know exactly where you're talking. I mean, you're talking about the hotel that everyone was staying at, right?
You know where we're standing by the front door. She's all the way. You can watch the video. It pans to Joe and I at the door. It pans to her at the elevator. We're nowhere near her.
Yeah, no, I saw the video, and you guys were nowhere near each other. And the thing is it's like that lobby's packed. There's security everywhere there in case something happens. And the thing is like you reacted to what she was doing. Like she's the one that threw the drink. She's the one that's screaming across the room. And I will say it's really funny because I didn't know if you were even going to say her name, but like she was one of the people that I interviewed that day. And she's fun because she keeps the banter going and whatever. But the thing that I really noticed going through all these interviews with different housewives is there are definitely different personalities. And Bravo is very smart about putting certain personalities together. And there's certain women who you can just feel the energy. They are there to stir up drama and to kind of like to keep the instigating going, where it's like you won't even be talking about something, but then all of a sudden they have to like throw in a dig or they have to like rehash a fight. And so I saw that. And in her defense, in that world, that works. And that's probably why she's on the show and why she does well with a certain audience that watches that show. But I'll be honest, I think it's really hard for somebody like you to have to deal with a personality like that because you'll never win, unless you completely lay down. And as sweet and as kind as you are, like you are going to protect yourself. Joe is going to protect you. So it's like you didn't instigate that situation. And like I saw so much of that this weekend. So many people love to throw around the word like empath and all that stuff. I know at my core, I'm an empath, like I want people to get along. I really and like for me, it was really hard to be around a lot of that energy because there's certain women who just want to keep drama going constantly. And it's like you were saying, everyone's there to celebrate. Like it's fun. It should be like this bit, like, why are we doing, the cameras aren't up, by the way. Why are you playing the role?
Yeah. Exactly. And the truth is that instigation, I don't work well with that. Like Teresa and I, we could be there all day long. There wasn't any confrontation. We could be in the room. There's no drinks being thrown. But certain people, and listen, I don't have to vouch for this. She has twisted the narrative on this so immensely with having her assistant go out. It makes the show look bad. It gives it a dirty feel because it twists something really into something dirty. You can't use the words attacked, threatened, all of these. There are people out there who legit do feel that every day. You can't claim to feel that way when you have two bodyguards standing next to you. No one is near you, and you are the one with the violence. When you throw something at someone, if it's a glass drink, if it's a paper cup, whatever it is, you are condoning. I don't condone violence. You are creating the violence. I can use my words, right? We can use our words, especially if you're going to walk in, stare at me right in the eyes after literally ripping me on every panel you've been on all day long. I can call you a loser and tell you to keep walking. I'm allowed to do that. And guess what?
Absolutely.
Am I right for that? Maybe no, definitely not. Maybe I should have just shut up. I should have just let it fly off my shoulder with her like I normally do. And I don't
No, but you'd had enough. You'd heard about it all weekend, like things are happening on the panels or whatever. The thing that bothered me about that with what the assistant did is you're feeding into something that's like, there's like a certain climate on social media. Everyone knows these certain words that if you say it, you are in so much trouble. And we know what the words are. And the thing is people are using them way too loosely. And like you said, nobody was on her. She wasn't attacked. She wasn't alone. She didn't feel vulnerable. You're in a lobby full of people and you're with someone who's instigating a major fight and who's actually throwing things. So it's like, to try and twist it on that because they know that people will come to you. We see how ugly the comments are and all that kind of stuff. So they played a real dirty game by putting that video out. If you're her assistant and you're spending time with that woman, you know what her motive is. You know what she's doing. That's the last video you should be making. You know?
That was really the point of this. This is not about winning or losing, to be honest, or like the fans' comments. This is truly about exactly what you just said, that there are trigger words now, and there are words that we know are like, canceling words, right? Things that are horrible to stay against someone's character and to pin them on when there's actual video proof. That's the only reason I am even speaking to you right now about this situation, because normally I wouldn't even give this 2 seconds of my time. I would move on. I have so much going on. I have my 3 kids. I'm very busy. Those words and the way she really twisted the narrative and positioned it, it wasn't even towards me. It was towards Joe. Joe is on his last, I have to say, he has to have amazing self-control when it comes to her, because listen, as his wife, I know how some people want to paint Joe, and it's pretty easy sometimes to paint him. He's super emotional. It's easy to paint someone who is very emotional in a negative light, right? And that's tough on me. That's tough on Joe. It's tough on my kids. It's really tough on everyone. But Joe, truly, to know him, and anyone who's come in his presence or met him, they know he has a heart of gold. He wears his heart on his sleeve. There's literally no fakeness to him whatsoever. What you see is what you get when it comes to Joe, to a fault sometimes. And I think certain people who have like an instigator-like mentality really think they have an opportunity to paint my husband in a not so true light. And it's very easy to paint someone in a negative light when they are just emotional and they really do give a shit. Joe does care. All of this family stuff does get to him. And when he sees this other woman who, we have enough problems, right? But when you see this instigator walk in the room, say that we should be fired all day on panels, right? For God knows why she would even say something like that, right? And then walk in and give us a look on top of it. What do you want him to do? Yes, he said, I can't believe this dirty bitch is on our show. Yes, he said it. She tried to say he said so many worse things than he said. So for me, it's not, I had to clear this up because I'm like, you can't lie. You're not allowed to lie. You have to say it what it is. Say, listen, I threw the drink, whatever. We had some words. The twisting of the narrative and using those dangerous words is where I like check out of the building, and it makes me nervous, and it's toxic. And, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I hope that everyone can like just learn that you have to be very careful with what you accuse people of, you know?
Right.
And then she was very good at everybody writing, you know, Jennifer threw the drink, Jennifer threw the drink. And then it turned into, oh, what did Joe do? They a victim. She was a victim all of a sudden, right? She was cornered. She
Wow.
was threatened. She was attacked with 2 bodyguards. Like, are you kidding me? And a full room of people. And my husband on the
Right.
opposite, he never even got within 2 feet of her. So
Right.
it's not fair. So I have to put that out there because we have to stop that. Like
Right.
you can't fake being bullied. You can't fake
Right.
that. That's not
Well,
right.
everybody has a breaking point. I mean, Joe hit his breaking point. I mean, listen to what we're even talking about. It's a fight between Joe and his family, who he loves, you guys and the family who you love, and she's the one who's coming in the middle. It's like, back off. You've pushed this too far. Like, you get to a breaking point. You know, it's like everyone, good people know what's happening. You see it there. It's funny because I talked to Jackie and Dolores, who are fabulous, and like, your cast is like so intense and so real, and you can feel the love and the real connections. Like, it doesn't feel like storylines to me. It feels very real. Dolores is fucking fabulous. Jackie is fabulous. And I'll be honest, Teddy, sweet Teddy, I love her so much, but Teddy plays that instigating game because she has a podcast and she wants people to listen, and more power to her. I love Teddy. I'm not talking shit. But Teddy would ask questions, you know, what do you think about the Teresa and Melissa and blah, blah, the whole thing, to Dolores and Jackie. And both of them kind of were like, I don't really want to go there. That's their thing. I want them to work it out. It wasn't that way with the other one. The other one kind of wanted to talk about. So that to me just says, it's like, okay, we're at BravoCon. We're not on the show. Cameras aren't there. Like, but you're still feeding this fight. I see what your role is, you know?
That is the biggest problem that Joe and I have. And especially Joe has, because obviously he takes it even deeper than I do. But even off camera, it's like, it gets very dark with her in there somewhere, where she truly inside, where I do feel that even Margaret, who was battling with Teresa for so long, everyone truly wants to see the family mend and back together, except for Jennifer. And that's hard for us to get past. That's because that's scary. That's, I should say I'm scared. If any, like it's scary.
No, it really is. What is your point? Like, what is your point with all of that?
What do you get out of it if we all never speak again? Why does that make you happy?
Well, I mean, you know what she gets, and I hate to say this because I feel like this is everyone's dig at everyone on reality TV, but she gets a storyline. Right. Because beyond that, it's kind of like, that's her role. And that's really sad to me. It's like, it's a bummer, you know, because if you take that away, if you guys
then
are
what
really
are we gonna do?
Yeah, then what is she gonna do? You know?
Fair. Well, I don't want to give any more. I don't want to talk about that situation anymore, but I know that you're level headed and you're great at that and you play devil's advocate. So I'm like, I wanted to get your opinion on everything, but more importantly, to talk about how those words, you can't just throw them around loosely and create this whole thing on Instagram and Twitter and make pretend you were attacked. It's just wrong. So that needs to stop. And everyone,
that gets legs really fast, which really bums me out about social media, because there could be people who don't even watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, but they hear those buzzwords and then it turns into a thing. Then everyone starts attacking. And it's like, no, you guys pull back and really look at what this situation is. It's like, don't use those words. That's a dirty, dirty fight. That didn't happen that way.
You can clearly see from the video, no one's near her, and who does the violence, who throws the drinks. And if you're watching any season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, just to say, everyone knows I'm the fun drunk. I don't get sloppy. They know my character. They know that's not me. So I'm going to put a period on that, because I feel like the people who know, and you don't let her twist your little minds up because it's out of control. But moving on from that, did you have any other, like, anything awkward with anyone else? Just give me someone who you thought would be a little different than they were. I'm not asking you to bash anyone, but just a little different or better than you thought they'd be.
No, and it's not even about bashing, because like I said, like, I came into the situation like kind of like a fan who I felt lucky to be there because I wanted to talk to people and it was fun for me. So there were a couple situations where I was like a little bit disappointed. I thought that Giselle from Potomac was a little bit disappointing. You know, really? I think that I'm there with Teddy to fill in for Tamra. And it's like, I don't think I'm nothing in the Bravo world. Like I'm not on a Bravo show, but the way that she treated me, like at one point she kind of even said like, what is he doing here? And it was like, and then when we went to take a picture after we did the podcast, Teddy's producer was like, oh, can we get a picture of you guys together? So we went to take the picture and she's like, oh, you're going to take the picture too. And I was like, what is your problem? Like, what is going on here? So it was really
Wow.
weird. But I also don't know, because then I was like talking to my boyfriend about it and he was like, maybe, that's her sense of humor or whatever. And I'm like, but that's just like a weird sense of humor, like kind of try to put somebody down. So I was just disappointed in that. It just felt kind of dirty. And I didn't like that at all. But there
Well,
were a lot of people that like I was really, really impressed with. I really loved Candace and Wendy from Potomac. They were fabulous, so sweet, so engaging. But my biggest one for the weekend, it was Dolores. Like I am obsessed with her. You guys are cool, right?
I am. I love her. Yes, we're
Yeah.
so tight.
She
Oh,
was
that's so funny. I was with Frank Catania that night too. He witnessed the whole thing. He was with me, which is so funny. When you say Dolores, I think of Frank instantly. But Dolores is salt of the earth. She's so good.
Yeah, but there was a lot of, I mean, the biggest takeaway that I got is I really felt like some compassion for all these women, because here's the thing, you've been on the show forever, like, so you've really played this game, how it works. But I would see a lot of these like newer housewives who were on there, and there is, even whether or not Bravo likes it behind the scenes, there is a pressure to be a little bit dramatic and keep things going. So I saw a lot of people like really trying to like push these fights constantly, or even saying little digs like on the podcast, or we're sitting right by the red carpet where they're being interviewed by all those press outlets. And it's like the pressure to keep fights going constantly, like that cannot be good for your soul. It's like the world that I was in with the reality TV Kristen's show, nothing about Kristen's show was about drama. It was about like family and Kristen building the business and me moving to Nashville as her best friend. It was about like our friendship and stuff. So like I've never really gotten a dose of that like serious drama. But I'm like you, I'm really, really sweet. But if I'm pushed into it, I'll always fight back and stuff. And I think like I watched it, I was like, oh my God, if I was on a Bravo show, like I'd probably get really engaged into a lot of the fight. Like I'd be like a protector and I'd be loud and stuff. It just really kind of, it's a breeding ground for all of that. And it was interesting. I have a lot of respect for people who can like keep their cool, be sweet. I've known Lisa Rinna forever, and we didn't get to talk that weekend because she kind of got rushed in and out of a lot of stuff. We were supposed to interview her on the podcast. And like I said, I knew her well before the Housewives, and she's always been fabulous. I really love Lisa Rinna. But I felt so bad for her this weekend, because it's like,
So did I.
you walk onto a stage full of fans, and the fans are so nice. They are paying money to come and like meet their favorite people. Like the energy, I love the energy out on the grounds, like walking around, there's so much love, whatever. But Lisa Rinna just getting booed on stage, it's like at the end of the day, like this is a real person, and like their feelings that are happening. And the stuff that's edited for a show, you see it. I get why fans are fired up and they get invested in it. That's what the show wants you to do, right? But like
Right.
in the real world, it's like booing them off of a stage, like that's a real person. Like that broke my heart. And she looked a little bit broken to me, like seeing her walk through the press and kind of race out when she left. She did all the press, she talked to everybody, whatever, but really quickly like left, like she wasn't hanging out like everybody else. And it bummed me out to see. I think that really hurts her.
Honestly, I heard about it while I was in the back rooms or one of the green rooms, and I felt horrible for her. She came walking in the green room after it happened, and I could see it on her face. And I just, you know what? I don't think that's right either. She is there as an ensemble. She is part of the reason why everyone loves that show, right? Good, bad, or ugly. She brings a certain thing to that show that they must need, because it's around her a lot of the time. So the fact that everyone booed her, I thought was terrible, because you're there to celebrate the show. And I felt bad for her at that moment. I really did. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. And there was actually a couple other situations at BravoCon where I heard some booing happen.
The whole thing was incredible, though. I was just like looking around and I was like, what? There's no other network, or there's no other situation that's like that, where you bring all these people together and the massive amounts of fans and the love and how everyone really knows
Yep.
all the storylines going on. Like it was incredible to see firsthand. Like I was blown away. I mean, like what Andy Cohen and Bravo have created, like it's otherworldly. Like I couldn't believe it. It was really, really special.
It's
So it was
beyond.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
beyond. It's time to ditch the chemicals with Caraway Home's non-toxic cookware and bakeware collections, so you can make healthier cooking a piece of cake. Caraway Home's non-toxic kitchenwares are all designed for the modern home and feature a chemical-free ceramic coating, so food can be prepared with peace of mind that no hard-to-pronounce chemical junk will get in your healthy ingredients. And they offer everything. You can get the cookware set, which is a modern and chemical-free version of the traditional 16-piece set, all boiled down to 4 essentials: a frying pan, a sauté pan, a saucepan, and a Dutch oven. And because you know me and how much I love cooking, I had to get my hands on their sauté pan. I got it in the cream because it matches my kitchen so perfectly. And if you're more into baking, they've also got the bakeware set, which is an assortment of non-toxic baking essentials every modern kitchen needs, so you can get to baking goods without any of the bads. Over 25,000 people have raved about their Caraway kitchen. Now it's time for you guys to try it yourself. Visit carawayhome.com/Melissa to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive just for our listeners. So visit carawayhome.com/Melissa or use code Melissa at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern.
Hi, it's Todd Chrisley from Chrisley Confessions, and my family is telling their truth. And if you want to hear the whole truth, you've got to listen to my podcast, Chrisley Confessions. Lindsay's podcast, Coffee Combos and the Southern Tea, and Savannah's new podcast, Unlocked. It's our family story, all the gory details, spread out over 4 shows. So listen, follow, rate, and review now at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and your favorite podcast app.
So do you do any of the house? Do you do any of their hair? Do you do anybody's hair? Did you style anybody? Or are you more just color?
No, so I just do color. Like I was in Beverly Hills forever, and I did all of my celebrity clients. I was in a salon for a long time. And then towards the end of my salon career, I opened up this private space in Beverly Hills. I opened up this house that had like 4 bedrooms. We turned each bedroom into a private studio. I'd have all my celebrities come in there. Like you'd go there on a certain day and it'd be like Miley Cyrus is there, Jennifer Aniston, and then like a housewife and an influencer, you know? So I had all this stuff, and it was an invite only. So I was just inviting certain people that I wanted to work with into there. And then as my business DP Hue, as I grew the product line, I focused more on that. So I stopped doing hair. And that's when I moved to Nashville. I moved to Nashville right before the pandemic. And I was going to go back and forth and do my celebrities. But then I got to Nashville and I really loved it, really focused on the hair products. And I've stopped doing my celebrity clients. So I haven't seen any of my big celebrities in a really long time. But back in the day, I colored a bunch of different housewives. Like I colored Dorit right before. I've colored Denise Richards' hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where can we buy your products? Tell me about exactly what your products are.
So all of my products, you know, all the years that I spent behind the chair doing hair color, I would hear all of the complaints that women would have about color in particular, the way that your hair fades, or like if you have blonde hair, if it would go brassy or kind of yellow. And I would hear all of these issues. So I was always
That's me, by the way. I get brassy. So I think it's my water. It's the water in Jersey.
Water has so much to do with it. And East Coast water is the absolute worst. It's so bad.
Of the worst.
So I have products. I'll send you a bunch of products because there's all these little tricks and different things that you can do to make these issues not work. But here's the thing, and I don't know if this will make sense to you. A lot of colorists don't want to tell you those problems or how to fix them because you come back to the salon and you pay money to get them fixed. So all of these things that I would see happening to my client's hair color, I've created all these different products that will take care of that. And it's not me trying to take away business from the salon people. I genuinely believe that the longer your color looks good on somebody who's your client, it's going to make you look better, right? Because a lot of people, they don't realize that you could be like a really bright blonde and then go in the shower, the hard water happens and your hair turns yellow, right? They're not going to blame the water. They're going to blame the colorist. So then the person will go find a new colorist. So I wanted to create all of these products that will take care of all these like color needs. So the line is called DP Hue, and it kind of takes care of all your color needs. But then beyond that, we have products for people who don't even color their hair either, just really takes care of the hair. I'm all about the health of the hair. I love long, beautiful hair. And I was known for doing, my most famous clients were super blonde. So it was really important to me to keep blonde hair really healthy. So I'm all about the integrity of the hair. So they're great products. We're at Ulta. So Ulta Beauty, I think we're in like 1,400 stores at this point. We're in every single Ulta. So any Ulta Beauty in your town, we're on Ulta.com, Sephora, Amazon, Nordstrom's, and then our own.com, dphue.com. So we're easy to find, but they cover everything.
I'm going to get my hands on some because
I'll send you a bunch.
Please do. I deal with the brassiness, but I also deal with so my highlights, I like them the highlights, then your hair breaks, right? So you need to, because I have dark hair naturally. So I like to keep them ashy. I like a little ash in mine, right? Because or else it gets too caramel or whatever. So I'm always going back and forth with my color. Oh, to have you color me would be a dream, by the way. I'm going to come to Nashville.
We should do that at some point for fun. But you look better with the more neutral tones where it's a bit more like cool tones. So more ashy. The red on you is not good on your skin tone. And all of that, it really goes off of your skin tone and what you can pull off. But most people with your coloring tend to pull a bit red. So I have a cool brunette. It's like a blue toner that you can use at home to retone your hair, pull all of that out. I also have a full line of glosses. So they're at-home glosses. So if your hair color fades a few weeks out from the salon, you can re-gloss it. Because I was doing that with all of my really big celebrities. I would have a client who would go shoot a movie for 3 months, and I would have to put together these kits, make things for them to take care of it. Or when Jennifer Aniston was filming in Montreal for a bunch of months, I would fly up to Montreal and gloss her hair. I'd do her gloss. When Miley Cyrus was platinum blonde for her Bangers tour, I would fly out every 2 weeks to the different cities when she was on her international tour, and I would touch up her roots and re-gloss it because hair color just changes. So you need to do these little things to make it look its best at all times. And that's kind of what my line takes care of.
Awesome. Well, I want everyone to go check that out. I'm definitely going to get some of my products now that you and I are besties.
Yeah, we are.
I'm coming to Nashville. I'm going to look you up. We need to hang out when I'm there. But listen, absolutely. I always do this really fun game. It's called Grill with Gorga at the end. So we're going to do this right now. It's super fun, super easy. We just want to learn about you. Just some rapid fire questions. Okay.
Perfect.
Ready? Who was your first celebrity crush?
My first celebrity crush, I'm gay, but I always had crushes on women. I still do. I have more crushes on women than men, to be honest. I just love women. But my first celebrity crush was Kim Basinger in the Batman movie. And then Kim Basinger became one of my clients. And it was one moment in my career. I never get nervous around people. I more get excited. But Kim Basinger sat in my chair and I had to say, wait, before I do anything more on your hair, I have to tell you what a huge fan I am. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuttering this whole appointment. So her and I became really close friends. I still text Kim every few days. She's one of my favorite people. So she was my first crush.
Come on. What is it like to actually be obsessed with someone and then have your hands all up in their head and in their hair? I mean, that's crazy. Your hands don't shake while you're doing that?
It's so wild. I mean, there's a few of them, Jennifer Aniston was a big one because when I first started doing hair, it was right when Friends started. And I was always oh my God, one day I just want to touch Jennifer Aniston's hair. I want to shampoo it, because she has such iconic hair. So the first time I worked with Jennifer, I was nervous. Then Kim Basinger. And those were the two that I was most nervous about because I loved them the most. I also really loved Ellen DeGeneres right before I worked with her. So that was interesting. But I really mean it. I think for me, celebrities are really interesting. They're really cool people. When you're famous and you're at that level of a Jennifer Aniston or a Ellen DeGeneres or any of these big names, there's a reason beyond just being talented that you are famous and you stay famous for a really long time. It's usually that you're a pretty fabulous person. People always love to be who was the worst celebrity? And I have to admit, I worked with really, really cool, interesting people who had been in the business for such a long time, and they happened to be really good people on top of it. There were some bad ones, but that's just shit talking.
Right. All right. What's your favorite 90s song?
My favorite 90s song. Do you know a band called Brownstone?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Remember the song, I'm
Sing it.
blanking
Sing
on
it for me, Justin. Sing it for me.
Oh my God, how does it go? Oh my God, it's killing me right now. I'm such a 90s fanatic.
You're
And
a
that's like
Britney fan, no?
I'm a huge Britney fan, but I just like love the 90s so much. And I can't believe I'm blanking on it. It's their biggest hit, Brownstone, and I
If
love
You Love
En
Me?
Vogue. Yes,
Ah,
yes.
there you
If you
go.
love me, say it, right?
If you, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay. I don't want to sing right now, but yes. Did
Yeah,
you
me
watch the
either. And
medley? Were you at Watch What Happens Live when we all got on the stage and started singing and lip singing?
no, but I was watching it live as it happened on one of the Bravo accounts that I love. I forget who it was putting the whole thing up, and I watched it. But then just last night we found it online and we watched it again, and you were so good. You and Candace, it was like it just felt different. You guys felt like professional to me, or it was hot. Maybe just because you both are so hot and you're like performers. But I thought that was so fun to watch.
It was fun. Okay. What was your biggest regret? What has been your biggest regret in life?
My biggest regret in life, I am not being cheesy when I say this. I don't think I have a lot of regrets because I really do love to learn from things that go wrong. But I will say in my hair career, the biggest regret is I'm the one who burnt Katy Perry's hair off. The reason Katy Perry has short hair is because I burnt her hair off, and I regret doing it. It was the first time I did Katy Perry's hair. She came in, somebody else had already started to take her from black to blonde, and her hair was damaged, like destroyed. And she came to me and she's like, Justin, you're the king of blonde. Everybody says that you have to do this. So I sat down and I felt her hair and I said, Katy, your hair is so bad. I was like, I have to be honest with you. If we try to go any blonder, I think your hair is going to break off. And she's like, no, you can do it. You can do it. I've seen what you've done with people's hair color, whatever. And so I told her, I was like, no, I'm telling you the truth. Even if I use the most gentle thing and be the most careful, your hair is going to break. And she said, well, can we just try it? And I was like, okay, we can try it. And I kind of had my ego. So this was a good ego check for me where I was like, I actually am really good and I never break people's hair off and I can always push it kind of far. And I'm really good at what I do because I love hair. So my ego in my head, I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to do this. Like, I'm going to surprise her. But we had that whole conversation. I put the foils in her hair. It was like 1:00 at night because she was so late to her appointment. Musicians are always late. So it was really late at night. I put all the foils in. Melissa, I'm not kidding you. The foils just started falling out of her head because it was breaking off like at the root.
No.
And I started crying like a grown man crying.
Like you started to cry.
Yeah, like I was like, what the fuck? Like I just burnt Katy Perry's hair off. So we had this whole thing. We take her to the bowl. I'm pulling the foils out really fast. And she's like, my hair's falling out, isn't it? And I was like, Katy, I have to be honest with you. Your hair totally is falling out. It was this whole thing. She was totally cool about it. We got her that pixie cut. This amazing stylist in Beverly Hills came and cut it really short or whatever. I was mortified. I wanted to like drive my car off of a bridge that morning
like
when I was
hide
driving
under
home.
A bed and never come out.
I never wanted to come out. But I will say in Katy Perry's defense, she called me the next day and she was like, I want you to know that you told me this was going to happen and we made the decision to do it. So this is not your fault. And I was like, again, it was a situation like this where I'm like, Katy, I so appreciate that. This is so rad, whatever. And then she kept coming to me for hair color. And I was like, please don't ever come
You're like, I don't want to touch it.
I don't want this pressure ever again. Like, I was like, don't come back to me. But that whole time that she had the short blonde hair, I was taking care of it for her. But I was like, I don't want this. Every time I saw it, it was like PTSD, actual PTSD.
Oh my God. See, I love that you admit it though. I mean, that's so you have actual like real like stories with celebs, like real genuine like interactions.
I was in that world, you know, like, and I love people and I love to connect with people and I'm not interested in fake relationships. So all my celebrities that I was working with for many, many years, we became really good friends. I would travel with them. I'd go to dinners with them. I'd get so drunk at their house that I'd spend the night. Like I was really in that world. And as much as I share on social media, I didn't share a lot of those super private celebrities, you know, because I knew the certain boundaries and stuff.
Right.
But that was my world forever, which is so funny because when I went to do people online are going to be shitty no matter what. They always are. But I moved to Nashville and Kristen and I have been friends forever. I went on her reality show and all of a sudden it turned into this whole thing where it was like, Justin Anderson's like a clinger onto Kristen. He's like using her for fame. And I'm like, you guys, I've been around famous women forever. Kristen is my best friend of over 20 years. This was just a fun experience for me to do. Like, so many people forget it's like, that was my world. I've been around that celebrity thing forever, you know, like.
Yeah, like you're not new to this at all. All right, what's your pet peeve? Biggest pet peeve?
A really stupid one is when people say 1,000% or 1,000,000%, because then I'm like, then what's the cap? I'm like, because 100% should be like 100% is like the most you could go. But if you say 1,000%, what about 1,000,000%? So I'm like, can we just have a cap? You know, like where people are like, oh my god, 1,000% or 1,000,000%.
1,000,000%. Like you know what? First time I ever heard that, I like it. I have to agree with you on that.
I
what
like
about
there to be rules. I want to know, like, no, what's the actual best?
Right. What's your worst date? Worst date you've ever been on? You're married, right?
We're engaged. We've been engaged for years now, and we'll be together forever. I love him so much, but we might be like a Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, because I don't know. We're in no rush to get married. But my worst date was, we have a connection. You just recently did Jillian Michaels, who's a really good friend of mine, and
love her.
My ex-boyfriend is Bob Harper, who was on the show with her forever. So I have two long-term relationships in my whole adult life: Bob Harper, and then my partner now, whose nickname is Scoot. That's how everyone knows him. So I only have like two. But in between Bob and my partner now, I had just a series of the worst dates ever. I think it was really funny because Bob was quote unquote famous. He was on TV. So after Bob and I broke up, everyone was trying to set me up with guys who were somehow kind of famous or known. And I found that came with it came with a lot of narcissism. So it was a lot of really bad narcissistic dates. So I can't really name one in particular, but it was just like sitting at a dinner.
You had some famous gays. There was other famous gays in between that you dated.
Yeah, like that people would know, that are like in the industry in one way or another, and people do know them, because everyone thought like, oh, because I was with Bob, like maybe that's what I was into. But Bob and I just happened to be together. We were so much alike, and we had fun together. But I was like, no, this isn't for me. Like, I don't want someone who's in the limelight like that. So it was a lot of dinners where people were just talking about themselves for the entire dinner, and I would leave, and I'm like, I would be in that relationship and it would never be about me. It would never be a back and forth.
Right.
So I learned really quickly that narcissists aren't for me. And I think people should pay attention to what their parents were like. I think my dad at the end of the day was a bit narcissistic. So I always was kind of attracted to narcissistic people, and I had to break that pattern. So now I'm very aware when I'm around somebody who is very narcissistic.
I like that. That's good advice. All right. Tell me, what was your first concert you ever went to?
My first concert ever was Spin Doctors. And I get this confused. It was either Spin Doctors or the Gypsy Kings. You know the Gypsy Kings? It's
yes, I know the Gypsy King.
My favorite ever.
That's so funny that you love the Gypsy King.
I love them so much. But it was one of those two. I always get it mixed up. I love
that.
So.
Oh my God. All right. Tell me something about you that I feel like we know everything right now, but tell me something about you that would surprise us.
People who follow me on social media or pay attention to anything that I do, I think would think that I'm very extroverted, but I'm actually not. Like, I'm more of an introvert. I can go out and kind of turn it on, and I love talking to people and stuff like that. But I go home feeling very depleted after that. Like, when I came back from BravoCon, like, I needed to hide out for like a couple days. You know how there's people,
Same.
I'm sure you have friends who feed off of a lot of energy and talking to a ton of people and gives them more energy. I would, every day after BravoCon, I didn't go to the nighttime stuff other than the first night, because I just had to go home and like go to bed and recharge.
Decompress.
Yeah. Where somebody like a Tamra Judge, she like blew my mind. I've been friends with Tamra for a long time, and I love her so much, but I'm like, Tamra, I think, feeds off of the excitement, you know, like it's really fun for her and it gets her going.
Yes.
Where somebody like me, like I'm outgoing, but I definitely need that downtime and to recharge. I'm such a homebody with my partner. Like, we are such homebodies, but then we go out and have a lot of fun.
I think you caught me right at that point that I needed my downtime as I was getting to my
Yes.
elevator, and I was disengaged from fans at that point. It was bedtime for me, and I was like, I didn't even hear you talking.
That's exactly what it felt back when I was looking back on it. And that was one of those moments where I had to check myself. I was like, Justin, don't make this about you. First of all, she owes you nothing. You guys don't know each other. And she could have been so in her head because I felt that all weekend long. When we were done with the podcast, it was like, okay, you guys are done, like whatever. I would make a beeline for the car and I would go straight to the hotel room, shut the door, and I would just black out. Like I wouldn't call any of my friends back, nothing.
I did the same exact thing. Yeah. I ran to that room. I didn't even want Joe to speak to me. He would like, shh, 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 shh. Like I didn't want to hear anything.
It takes so much out of you.
It does. It does. All right. Give me your favorite late night snack. Like when you're watching TV at night, what are you eating?
I am a big fan. This is boring, but I love it. I love those like smaller watermelons, and I cut them in half and I eat it with a spoon. So I take it out of the fridge, so it's really, really cold, but it's like the best like summer treat, and it kind of gives you that sugar that you need. You know how most people are like, I need a sweet at night.
Yes,
that'll do it for me. So I love a cold watermelon cut in half and eat it right out with the spoon.
That's a good idea for like just to stay healthy too. And what are you watching when you're eating it? What's your show? Like, what are you binge watching right now?
I am such a TV person, and I'm not embarrassed to say it because I think we learn a lot from TV, and I think TV nowadays is fabulous, you know? So I watch a lot of TV. I watch all the Bravo Housewives, so that really takes up most of my time. But right now,
what is your favorite franchise? What's your favorite? You can say it's okay. It doesn't have to be Jersey. It could be whoever. What is like the one you are like?
No, I would be really honest with you. I think right now they're all fabulous, but my standouts, and I always go off of which ones I get so excited when they're about to premiere, and it really is New Jersey, Beverly Hills, and Potomac. Those are the ones that like I'm so excited for the premiere date. And I really think for me, Beverly Hills, because I have a connection to some of those ladies and I love their outfits and like the fun of it. Jersey, I'm such a family person. I love how you can feel all the family dynamic. And then Potomac, I'll be honest, I love it for the drama. There's just a lot of like drama right out the gate.
Everyone says that to me, but particularly about those three shows, and basically for exactly what you just said, which is so funny. Okay, I always end with, how do you treat yourself? So if the day is all about Justin, what are you doing that's going to make you so happy today and you're going to just treat yourself?
I'm so into like all that self-care stuff. I'm a really big bath taker, so I take a bath. I put on a face mask. I sit in front of the UV ray. I have this like thing called a Juve. It's like the red LED lights that help your muscles and stuff. So mine's all about like self-care. I love all of that stuff. All
right. Well, listen, Justin, this has been so much fun today. I really do think you are a true gem. I'm so glad we got you on the show to like air this all out. Listeners, make sure you all check out Justin's hair care product line, DPQ. It sounds amazing. He told you everywhere you can get it. And I'm just so excited that you had a great time at BravoCon and that we can do this, because I feel a long friendship coming here. I can tell you're my type. You're my people. I can feel it.
You're my people too. We're gonna hang out. Next time I come to New York, I'm gonna hit you up, and you have to hit me up if you come to Nashville. I'll take you out.
I will. You know, we just did a cast trip in Nashville. I should have known.
Wait, you want to know something that's so crazy? Stephen Drew was the producer of Very Cavallari. You guys were supposed to stay at my house. Stephen asked if you guys could rent my house in Nashville.
No.
And at the yes, you guys almost stayed in my house in Nashville.
I heard that. You know, I heard that we switched houses last minute. So that was your house.
Yes, you guys were supposed to stay at my house. At the last minute, I was like, I don't want my house to be on TV. And then the people, they saw it on Very Cavallari, whatever. So I changed my mind at the last minute. But funny little story there.
Oh my God, that's crazy. All right, well, listen, I'm going to let you go. I took up enough of your time talking about Housewives, but honestly, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this. I kind of love how we came together this way and I jumped in your live. It was fun. You're awesome. And let me know when you're going to be in New York. I really want to know when you're out here.
I will.
I owe you a drink. Okay.
No, I owe you one. You one. You're the best, Melissa. Thank you so much, babe.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.